Okay, well, we can't find, because it may not exist. I don't think we've got an actual soundbite of Tom Daschle complaining about Democrat experts discovering that liberal Democrats listen to this program. That's really what it was. This is back in 2002. It's after the midterms. We talked about this in the first hour, so I'm closing a loop here. I don't want to leave anything hanging out there. And Daschle said that their experts did a study of the audience of this program, and they were shocked. Tom Daschle was the leader in the Senate at the time of the Democrats, and he was shocked that liberals and Democrats listened to the program. That's what it was. They believed up until that time the only people that listened to this program were like-minded conservatives and Republicans. Therefore, they weren't really worried about it. And then their experts told them two things. Not only do liberal Democrats listen, but the earth-shattering revelation was that some of them actually changed their minds and abandoned the Democrat Party. Now, I think I read that Daschle said that. I don't think I ever heard the soundbite. But we have a soundbite of me. I was interviewing Bernie Goldberg. He was on the program. It was January 23rd, 2003. And this is me. Goldberg was making the point that my program had a universe of listeners far beyond just Republican and conservative.
You know what we found, we deducted? We listened to Daschle's comments, and he actually said, experts have told us that. And he said something, I don't remember his exact words, but the upshot of it was that we figured they had some internal polling, Bernie, which indicated that my audience is indeed what you just said. It's not rock-ribbed. It's not totally conservative. That the people who listen to this program, I mean, that's just the key to this, me being an entertainer business. I think they found out a lot of liberals do listen to this program and like it.
And he went on to say that changed their minds. It was when Daschle made the announcement, he was shattered. And this has to do, if you missed it, played a soundbite of Obama at a secret speech in Boston where he once again blamed me and Fox News for causing the balkanization of thought and opinion in America. That before me, that we all had a common set of facts that we were reported every day on the 3 network newscasts. And then I came along, and then after that, Fox News came along, and Obama was lamenting the day. Man, oh man, I had forgotten so much of this Puff Daschle stuff. A friend of mine just sent me a CNN story from November of 2002. This is after 2002 midterms. These Democrats were fit to be tied over what they were learning, and Puff Daschle just lashed out at me as inspiring violence against Democrats. It was shortly after this that they all got together, 10 senators at Mary Landrieu's house in New Orleans, and decided to do Air America to respond to what was happening here. And Daschle blew a gasket, apparently, when I exposed his wife as a big-time lobbyist for American Airlines, or whoever she was lobbying for. Anyway, I had forgotten so much, and my memory is impeccable, but I had forgotten how deeply irritated with me Puff Daschle was. Let me get back to the phones. We'll save that for the next half hour. Ginger in Tucson. I'm glad you waited. You're next up. It's great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to say for the last 2 years, I have become politically active, I guess, in the way that any company that is being, criticized for supporting Trump, I literally go in and support them. I buy something, even if I don't need it. I go in, I go on their website, I buy something, I write a letter to the CEO, VPs. That's what I'm doing. On the other hand, any company that is, like with the NRA, okay, we're in our late 50s. We both joined the NRA this week. And I don't think I'm the only person that's doing that. I just feel like it's about time. I've boycotted. It's been painful because, I boycotted, Starbucks and the NFL and a whole bunch of other types of businesses that are getting, that are against him. And then on the other hand, I support every business I can possibly support.
See, I think
that stands firm.
I think you are a sign of what's happening out there in droves. You joined the NRA. You never would have joined the NRA other than this, more than likely, but there you are responding. And this is happening more than you would ever know by the news. Okay, now all of this has been brought back to life because Obama, rather than me repeat this, grab soundbite number one. This is it. Is Obama a super secret sports meeting speech on Friday in Boston? And it is now beginning to leak out. And this is it. This is Obama blaming me and then Fox News for the fact that there's no single set of facts anymore that Americans are told each and every day. In other words, Obama blaming me for the bust-up of what used to be a left-wing media monopoly.
Social media platforms are just that. They are a tool, and ISIS can use that tool, and neo-Nazis can use that tool. The large platforms, Google and Facebook being the most obvious, they're shaping our culture in powerful ways. And the most powerful way in which that culture is being shaped right now is the balkanization of our public conversation. This was already happening with the advent of talk radio and cable. But essentially, we now have entirely different realities that are being created with not just different opinions, but now different facts.
See, he's livid. Now we've got different realities that are being created with not just different opinions, different facts. And it all happened with talk radio and Fox News. Well, talk radio cable means Rush Limbaugh and Fox News. And it got me to remembering other times where other Democrats have spoken out and the same thing. And Tom Daschle flashed into my mind after the 2002 midterm elections. The Democrats thought they were going to really clean up in midterm elections and ended up losing seats. That's never done. I mean, that was rarely does the party out of power lose seats in the first midterm election after a presidential race. And so my old buddy Jeffrey Lord has been listening to me discuss the Puff Daschle stuff. And he found this piece at CNN from November of 25th, 2002. It's by Dana Bash, and she's still there. Daschle says shrill talk radio spurs threats. Sharp and shrill commentary from some talk show hosts has led to increased threats against public officials, according to Tom Daschle, counting himself among those who have received such threats. Daschle, Democrat, South Dakota, would not elaborate on the kinds of threats, but said that as Republicans criticized him throughout the year, the threats went up. When I was accused of being an obstructionist, there was a corresponding very significant increase in the number of issues that my family and I had to deal with, and I worry about that, said Daschle. Daschle credited Republicans for success in getting their message out, saying they deftly blend politics and entertainment and use talk radio to rev up their listeners. But Daschle said, Rush Limbaugh and all the Rush Limbaugh wannabes have a very shrill edge, and that's entertainment. We were told, and this is where he gets into what their experts told him, we were told that even people who don't agree with them listen because they're entertained. This is what he couldn't believe. They all thought that the only people listening here were like-minded conservatives. And when they found out how many liberal Democrats are listening, Daschle called a press conference to express his shock. And then he went on to say, and our experts tell us this is dangerous because some of these liberal Democrats are actually changing the way they think and are sticking with the Republicans. Now, what happens when Rush Limbaugh attacks those of us in public life is that people aren't satisfied just to listen. They want to act because they get emotionally invested. So, the threats to those of us in public life go up dramatically on our families, on us, in a way, and it's very disconcerting. And it says here that Limbaugh played Daschle's comments on his show Wednesday, telling his listeners every time the Democrats lose either elections or a major issue, they blame me, they blame talk radio, they blame you. And It wasn't long after this that Daschle and Murray Landrieu got together at her house in New Orleans and basically decided to fund Air America. You found what bite? The Daschle bite? Oh, we found the bite. I don't have a transcript, so I don't know what they found. I was just told in the IFB that we found the bite. This could be a bite about, who knows? Let's listen together and find out.
I think we're in a different place because of the way politics has become such entertainment. We were just talking with some experts a couple of days ago about how if we're going to try to break through as Democrats, we have to have the same edge that Republicans do. You know, Rush Limbaugh and all of the Rush Limbaugh wannabes have a very shrill edge, and that's entertainment. We were told that even people who don't agree with them listen because they're entertaining. And,
wow.
You know, but what happens when Rush Limbaugh attacks those of us in public life is that people aren't satisfied just to listen. They want to act because they get emotionally invested. And so, you know, the threats to those of us in public life go up dramatically. Wow. And on our families and on us in a way that's very disconcerting. I don't think it's appropriate for me to dwell on that or to even go beyond that. But I will say that it has created a far different dimension. Right. When I was accused of being an obstructionist, there was a corresponding and very significant increase in the number of issues that my family and I had to deal with. And I worry about that.
Right.
If entertainment becomes so much a part of politics, and if that entertainment drives an emotional movement in this country among some people who don't know the difference between entertainment and politics and who are then so energized to go out and hurt somebody, that troubles me about where politics in America is going.
Never happened here. That's what they always fell back on, is that there was all these threats and so forth. We got to take a brief time out. We'll be back with much more right after this. Don't go. The point is, these people have been trying to blame this program, and essentially you, for their crybaby loss of what they had as their monopoly almost for 25 years here. And it's just another illustration of how they never change, have nothing new, no reason to be afraid of these people or even intimidated by them.